Where is it? Okay, here we go. So what do you have to do first on this one? What's the first thing you have to do?
Distribute.
Yeah, you're going to have to distribute. Exactly. So what do you get? If you distribute this, can someone read out what you get?
R squared.
Plus
2R.
minus 3R minus 15 equals what? So we've distributed. Now we need to put it into the regular standard form. Kids, put it in standard form. So we can combine some terms here. We get plus not 3R. Gabby?
You have, yeah.
Equals 2. And then we subtract what from both sides?
2.
Minus 17 is equal to 0. So what does A equal? 1. B is equal to? And C is equal to? And kids, I saw some of you not doing this. Please take a second when you do this. Find the discriminant first. Do B squared minus 4AC. Like, write it down. So what is B? 2 squared minus 4. What's A?
1.
What's C? 17. So this is going to be 4 plus 4 times 17. What's 4 times 17?
68.
So 4 plus 68, the whole thing is going to be? 72. So what do we get for an answer? X is equal to negative B, which is negative?
5.
No. 2 plus or minus the square root of?
72.
All over 2 times A, so it's all over 2. You're not done yet because what should you simplify? 72. You can pull out a 2 and a 36. Oh, 36 is a square, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's going to be negative 2 plus or minus 6 root 2 all over what? 2. You can cancel the 2's out in both places and you end up with negative 1 plus or minus 3 root 2. There's your final answer right there. In this case, for number 53, what does B equal? Sorry, what does A equal? A is 1. What's B? What is B? Little b, right? And what is C? 25. So the discriminant here is B squared. So little b squared minus 4 times 1 times what? 25. So what do you get here? B squared minus 100. So that is the discriminant. And there's 3 different types of numbers it could be. The discriminant, if it is greater than 0, what do you have? 2. If it's greater than 0, you have two real answers.
Yeah.
Two real answers. They could be rational or irrational. If it's equal to 0, what do you have? 1 real answer. And that is rational. And then if it's less than 0, you have 2 what? 2 imaginary answers. So what is this asking you to find? What does the B need to be so that each equation will have exactly 1 rational solution? So which one's the only one that has 1? And this will always be rational, by the way. It has to equal what?
0.
It has to equal 0. So what do we set this thing equal?
0.
Equals 0. So what does B equal? It could be one of 2 numbers.
0.
Nope.
10.
10 or negative 10. Exactly. If it's 10 or negative 10, it'll have 1 real answer. Yes? Yeah. What do we multiply everything by? T squared. So what's 3 times t squared? 3 squared. And then it's going to be minus what? 1t equals 2. Is that in proper quadratic form? No. So it's 3t squared minus t minus 2 equals 0. What's the method you like if it's possible to use? What method do you like? You like to factor, so at least try. Or does it say you have to use a method on this one?
No.
Solve each equation, yeah. So you could, you know it's going to be 3t and t, and one of them's negative and one of them's positive. So what do you want to try? And they have to multiply together to get negative 2?
T minus 1 and t plus 2.
So maybe plus 2 and minus 1. Does that work? Let's try. You get 3t squared minus 3t plus 2t minus 2. Is that what we want it to be? 3t squared minus t minus 2. It is.
Hey!
It does. So what does that tell us here? It tells us what are the 2 things? The zero product property. If 2 things multiply together to get 0, one or both has to be 0.
So it's going to be 3t plus 2 equals 0.
Or
t minus 1 equals 0.
exactly. So 3t is equal to negative 2. So t is equal to negative 2/3, or t is equal to 1. What should you do at the end when you get 2 answers like this? Check them. Let's check 1. And you do both sides. So if we check this, 3 minus 1 over 1, does that equal 2 over 1 squared? Does 2 equal 2? It does. So this checks. It's number 11. So then we need to check the other one, though. The other one's a little bit more fun because it's a fraction.
I got this right now, but just it was kind of weird because in the back of the book it said the answers were 5 and 5 and radical 7.
Is the answer book wrong, or are you looking in the wrong place?
No.
2/3. This one's a little bit challenging because we have to use a fraction. So we have to check 3 minus 1 over negative 2/3. Does that equal 2 over negative 2/3 squared? When you divide by a fraction, that's the same thing as multiplying by the, so this is 3 minus 1 times negative 3 over 2. So that's 3 plus what? 3 over 2. How many halves are in, you need a common denominator here? So that's going to be 6 over 2 plus, so that's equal to what? 9 over 2? Let's try this one. What is this? This is equal to 2 over 4 over 9, right? Dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the, so it's 2 times 9 over 4. So that's 9 over, no, it cancels, right? 2. So are they the same? Does 9 over 2 equal this? The 2 cancels with that, making it a 2.
Can you?
Look, 2/3, what's negative 2/3 squared? 4 over 9. 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9. It's negative, so what happens when you square negative? It becomes positive. Dividing by a fraction is the same thing as reciprocal. So we took 2 over 1, and what did we multiply by? 9 over 4. What does the 4 cancel with? The 2, and then turning that into a 2. So we end up with 9 over 2.
Oh, I was just confused with the 2 over 4 over 9. I just didn't know how
It's
to.
2 all over that. It's 2 over 4 ninths.
Yeah.
It's 2 over 4 ninths, like that. So is this the same? Yep. So what does that mean? They both work. Both work. Nice. Notice that it was, oh, you know, it doesn't matter. The first two have to multiply together to get x to the fourth. Oh, and then it's just going to be minus 9 and minus 4. These are the difference of what?
Squares.
Yeah, and you've done that a ton. So each piece comes together really nicely, and you end up with nice answers. So x is equal to plus or minus 2 or plus or minus 3. Nice. That's fantastic. Okay, try this one now. Go. Oh, you should end up with, you know, you do some algebra and you end up with 32x squared minus 20, right?
Yeah.
Minus 20x plus 2 is equal to 0. Those are all even numbers, so what can you factor out? 2. 16x squared minus 10x plus 1, and then you think to yourself, is that factorable? Mm-hmm. It's 8x minus 1 and x minus 2, right? Is that correct? Is it x minus 2?
Oh, no, that's not, we messed up.
What is it? It's 8x squared.
2x minus 1.
No, it's minus 1. It's minus 1.
Yeah.
And then it's 2x minus 1. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. So therefore, 8x minus 1 is equal to 0, or what is true? 2x minus 1 is 0. So 8x is equal to 1, so x is equal to 1/8. Or 2x is equal to 1, so x is equal to a half. So we're not going to do it right now, but could you check that to see if either one of those or both work? Yes. Here's the thing. That's the longer method because this step right here, this algebra step can take a little while and it can be fraught with places where you can make a mistake. The thing you can recognize right here is, do you see the same thing twice in here?
Yeah.
You see this squared and then you see that by itself, right? So ready? I like using the letter u. I'm going to let u is equal to this and let u equal to that. If I do that substitution, I can do that substitution as long as I go back. As long as I substitute back. So what I'm saying is, u is equal to 4x minus 3. If I say u is equal to 4x minus 3, what does that question turn into? 2 what?
2u squared
Plus
7u
plus 5 is equal to 0. Oh, can we factor this? No, wait. I'm just saying, let u equal this thing. It's in both places. So as long as I go at the end back, which we will do, so just put a pin in this. This is going to lead us theoretically to the same answer. So can we factor this?
Yes.
Yeah, this is going to be 2u, u, and then what? Plus 1 and plus, oh wait, plus, sorry. It should be plus 5 right here, and plus 1. So what does that tell us? 2u plus 5 is equal to 0, or what? U plus 1 is 0. So what does that tell us? 2u is equal to 5, negative 5. So what does u equal? Negative 5 over 2, or u is equal to? That's not the final answer, because what did we say u is equal to right here? So what do you do now? U is equal to 4x minus 3. You plug it in, you get 4x minus 3 is equal to negative 5 halves. Or what? 4x minus 3 is equal to negative 1. So what do you get here? 4x is equal to 2. So x is equal to, hey, is that the same as the answer we got as before? Uh-huh. This one's a little bit nastier. Can you guys guess what I would do first on this one?
Get rid of the fraction.
Multiply by 2, and you get 8x minus 6 is equal to? So 8x is equal to 1. So what does x equal? 1 over 8. So overall, is it kind of about the same work? Yes, but one of them might be way easier for you than the other. What you have to recognize is this special case. Do you see the same thing?
Yes.
Pick your favorite letter, plug it in. But at the end, is the answer -5/2 or -1? No. The answer is 1/8 or a half. You have to substitute back. Yes.
Okay, when you do the substitute back.
Don't know. We know with the wind. What's the rate going to be? We call it like R plus 15, and against the wind, what is it going to be? Minus 15. And if this is T, what's the other one going to be? 6 minus T. 6 minus T, because they add together to get 6. So you know from this line that 810 is equal to R plus 15 times T. In this one, 720 equals R minus 15 times what? T. There are lots of algebraic ways to do this. Let me show you the shortest way I know. From this one, can you isolate T? What does T equal? Over what? R plus 15. And what does this one equal? T is equal to what?
720 over R minus 15.
So what you can do is then T is equal to those two things. So 810 over R plus 15 has to equal what? 720 over R minus 15. That, right, kids, it's still a quadratic. Because what do you do at this point? What do you have to do? Yeah, well, it's actually not, it's nicely not a quadratic, I guess.
Where's the 6 minus T?
Where's the 6 minus T?
6 minus T. Oh, did I not write it correctly?
Yeah.
This one is what? 6 minus T right here?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I did not write it correctly. So this is not as, so yes, it is I was like, this suddenly got too easy. Yeah, so let me get rid of this. So it's not 6 minus T. What is it? It's going to be, we know that, we have to be really careful about this, right? So we know 6 minus T is going to be equal to 720 over,
R minus 15.
so we know that negative T is equal to 720 over R minus 15 minus 6.
Yeah.
But we don't want negative T. What do we want?
Positive.
So we had T is equal to 6 minus 720 over R minus 15. So now do we have T?
Yeah.
So what can we now write? We can write 6 minus 720 over R minus 15 is equal to what?
800.
R plus 15. How many variables are in there, right there? How many variables do you see? One. It's just R, right? How many equations? One. One equation, one variable. Should you be able to solve this?
Yeah.
And we're not going to do it now because we have to go, but what would you multiply this by first?
5 minus 15 R plus 15.
Yeah, because what does that do?
That takes
Nukes the denominators. It turns it into a quadratic, but hey, can you guys handle quadratics? Yes.